Welcome back to Maryland SoccerPlex. Michael Minnick here with Danielle Malagari. Let's go through the lineups, Danielle. The Spirit, we mentioned Ortega's absence. Estelle Johnson also with the team. So it's a different back four tonight in front of Kelsey Weiss as Caprice Didasco gets her first professional start.
Sure. And we've been talking about this all season about how versatile she is, where she has been kind of going in the midfield and up top. So it's good to see her kind of back into a more natural position at the left back.
She'll have a familiar face in college teammate Megan Oyster next to her. Partnering Oyster in the center defense will be Tori Houston, moving back to a familiar position for her. Over the last 2 years, although she is that natural midfielder, but played left back, as I mentioned earlier last week, and she can play anywhere. And then Whitney Church, who has really put a clamp on that right back spot, will be the fourth defender tonight.
Right, and going into it during preseason, Church was kind of in and out of the lineup, but she really has made a run for it and has solidified her spot there in the right back.
With Houston, the previous games before the World Cup with injuries, this midfield three has pretty much been the same. It's been Angela Salem, it's been Joanna Lohman, and it's been Christine Nair.
Right, and they've just been so solid for the Spirit that it's no wonder that they're starting out there today.
And then up front, it's a familiar three as well from the last couple games. It's Del Rio on the left, it's Crystal Dunn in the center, and it's Amanda DaCosta who stepped up her game on the right.
Absolutely, and that's what she needed to do. Like we said earlier, when players will be missing for the World Cup, who's going to step up, and DaCosta has really picked up her game.
For the Dash, Bianca Henninger gets the nod in goal with Erin McLeod, of course, on duty with Canada as they play their World Cup quarterfinal tonight. Back four, left to right, it's Camila, the Brazilian, next to a familiar face and Tony Presley, the Australian Ellie Brush, and the Dash captain Ella Masser, who's in a new role this year as an outside back rather than a forward.
Well, with the speed that she has, it's great to see that she's able to kind of transfer back to that right back position. But, like I said, with that speed, she's absolutely going to be able to recover and then also get up and attack. So she knows what she's doing out there.
She played for the Freedom back in the day, played some games here. Two familiar faces to Spirit fans in that midfield, Tiffany McCarty and Nikki Cross on one side, along with the Englishwoman Rachel Axon and Melissa Henderson.
Right, and with Cross probably as that holding midfield position, she's really played all over the place. Center back, for the Spirit. She was a forward in college at UConn, and now as a center midfield.
Yeah, played everywhere at UConn.
Right.
So, like you said, someone that can step in, and she's played every minute of every game for Randy Waldron's club so far this year. And up top, a partnership that has given defenses nightmares all year. Jess McDonald, acquired in the offseason from Portland, partnering the first-round pick from last year, Kalia Ohai.
Right, and I would definitely not want to be the ones defending those two.
So, let's go Houston, Oyster, Church, Lohman, Nair, and Salem, Del Rio, Dunn, and DaCosta for Washington, Henninger, Camila, Presley, Brush, Masser, McCarty, Cross, Axon, Henderson, McDonald, and Ohai for Houston. Dash are in the light blue tops with the white shorts and the blue socks. They'll go from left to right here in the first half. The Spirit in those familiar home blue tops with the red on the shoulders, the red shorts, and the red socks. Henninger in green and Kelsey Weiss in black tonight. Underway here is Wendy Church will get an early touch and played in the middle for Salem, now on the 18 for Megan Oyster. Both teams starting their backup goalkeepers, but I think Bianca Henninger and Kelsey Weiss have done very well filling the shoes of Erin McLeod and Ashlyn Harris so far.
And again, I'm going to say this over and over again. They have stepped up once Erin McLeod and Ashlyn Harris have been away with the national teams.
Masser touching it back for Brush as Del Rio pressures now in the center of the park for Tony Presley. Presley playing it forward. And missed it there from Henderson, allows the Spirit to get on the ball. And now a chance for Del Rio to counter at the top of the 18. The Spaniard on the edge, marked tightly, trying to play it in the box, trying to lay it back for Lohman, but broken up on midfield by Cross and cleared. Church will restart the attack for Joanna Lohman and now get it back. Chip from Church, volleyed out by the left foot of Tony Presley, and something we've seen many times is Presley is someone that can really deliver that long ball with authority out of the back. Throw up the line for Dunn, and Camille will knock it out for a Spirit throw-in. We've already seen Dunn pop up on both sides trying to get an early touch on the ball, but we expect her to play centrally as a rule tonight.
Right.
Throw in the box, chested down by DaCosta. Drops it back. First time cross from Church, driven in low, and Henninger will get her first touch of the match here in the 2nd minute.
And that's not a bad ball by Church. Those are the types of balls you want to kind of skip in early to see, what the surface is like with all the rain that they've had today. And that's always a dangerous ball to defend.
Skip there, goes under Didasco's foot, but Huster cleans up, and now it will end up as a dash throw here on the near side. Randy Waldrum has made a habit with the dash of turning forwards and outside back. We saw Stephanie Oakes do that last year.
Sure.
And now Ella Masters' turn. Axon playing it forward, looking for McDonald. Broken up and stolen by Caprice Didasco. And the center of the park now for Salem. DaCosta against Camila. And work back to Church. Nairn under heat from Axon, go all the way back to Kelsey Weiss. Huster's chip headed down by Axon. Can't find Master though, and now Nairn will get an early touch and play Caprice Didasco. Broken up again by Rachel Axon in the middle. McCarty now for the turning McDonald. Good turn on Oyster, laying it off now left. Henderson in the box, second time shot, deflected by the sliding Church, and that makes the job easier for Kelsey Weiss.
And that was a great recovery by Church just to get back and just to get even a toe on it to kind of kill the pace of the ball and to make it an easier save for Kelsey Weiss.
Jess McDonald, 1 year and 364 days ago, was waived by the Chicago Red Stars. She scored 19 goals since then. Ball knocked out for a throw-in, and you see the danger there for McDonald. She's someone that has shown power and prowess in the air, but also has that pace. She's a very good combination.
Right, and she's able to turn something or nothing into something, especially with that turn there.
Holding up play now against Megan Oyster. And we mentioned McDonald being acquired by Houston in the offseason. That trade was made on January the 16th with the Portland Thorns, and the Thorns number 13 pick. That pick then went to the Spirit for Jody Taylor and turned into Megan Oyster. Through ball now, looking for Ojai, touched back by Didasco. And a good ball for Weiss to play Didasco and restart the attack.
Not so sure that's what she meant to do, but it fell directly to Didasco's feet, so not so bad after all.
Mark Parsons in the raincoat today, but no drops falling as Master takes the throw in front of him. Didasco winning well and playing in the center now for Salem. Switch left for Didasco. This is the 10th game of the year for the Spirit, and they've had the same back four in 8 of those games. The only 2 exceptions were the 2 Houston games. Allie Krieger started against the Dash in the season opener, picked up that concussion, and then Nestal Johnson came in, and it's been pretty much that same group with Alex Singer getting a couple starts as well in Church's spot. But this is really the biggest change we've seen to Mark Parsons' backline since that opener.
But even with the change of Tori Huster going into the back, that's not much of a change because the first 2 years she was a staple there.
Salem's getting a lot of touches early. She'll play Nairn now and work it back to Oyster. Houston's done a good job of not necessarily pressing high, but being in a good position to not allow the Spirit to easily build out of the back and get to their forwards. The shape's been very good.
Absolutely.
Oyster having to hustle for that one. We'll play it left for Del Rio. Dunn up the line, wants it, but Del Rio will cut inside instead on her own. Bad tackle there from McCarty, comes in late. And Matthew Franz will have a word with Tiffany McCarty, say no more. You get maybe one more chance, and then you're going to see yellow.
Sure. And you certainly hear Mark Parsons yelling that's from behind, maybe wanting a card, but it's a little early in the game to be given a card.
I think that's the biggest factor.
Exactly.
If you see that challenge in the 70th minute, it probably is a yellow.
Absolutely.
But in the 6th minute, maybe not so much. We'll give a free kick to Christine Nairn in the Spirit, though. Serve towards Oyster. She pops it up in the air. Second ball will be hit again by Oyster. Volleyed now by Lohman, but right into the gloves of Henninger. And she'll roll it out, and Dasco, wise to that, will pick it off and start the spirit attack, but McCarty will cut that out and find Ojai's feet. Good touch from Henderson as she tries to dodge Huster, but too firm, and it goes out for a spirit throw in front of their own bench. Houston trying to extend a 5-game unbeaten streak. That's the best in the franchise's young history. The Spirit have been in good form as well, as they have a tie and a win going into the World Cup break. We mentioned earlier that game against Chicago washed away. We don't have a makeup date for that yet against the Red Stars, but as usual, that will be a key game between those two sides.
Absolutely. And I'm sure Megan Oyster's dying to get that game back with her first goal this
Home
season.
crowd. She's from the Illinois area.
Right.
Touch back now for Salem. Good switch left for Laura Del Rio, but takes a skip high and off the right cleat of the Spaniard and out for a throw-in.
Del Rio really wasn't expecting it. Honestly, I wasn't really expecting it. It seemed like as if Angela Salem was going to hit a shot from that distance, but looked to kind of spit it wide.
Should mention that with the rain, it's a cooler evening. This is the kind of evening you like to play as long as the rain stays away, where it's in the mid-60s. You can run without getting too tired. Very comfortable for the D.C. area in late June. Presley forced to go long by Dunn, and it's an easy bring down for Whitney Church. Woman now will go right. DaCosta inside now for Dunn, who will try and turn Presley in the box. Goes down. Referee's not going to give her anything on there, and that allows Henninger to come out and get it.
Right, and it didn't even look like Crystal Dunn was looking for a call in that moment. She got right back up and kept battling. Tony Presley's a hard person to get around, though.
Just a battle between a 5'1" player and a 5'10" player. You're gonna have that happen.
Right.
Definitely going to be some trade-offs in that battle. Dunn's pace against Presley's size. Good steal there from Del Rio, but was too good. She found Melissa Henderson on the way through, and the Dash will get a free kick.
Energy's great, but tackle not so much.
Houston already closing in on the win total from last year. They won 5 in their inaugural season. They won 3 already this year, and they've done a good job as well as minimizing damage. They have the 4 draws, so they've been able to turn some of those losses into points. McCarty touching it for Ojai. Early serve in towards the top of the 18. Popped up high by Tori Huster. Second ball fought by Axon. Hit again by Huster, but only as far as Ojai. Ojai cutting on the right edge of the box, trying to get a step on Didasco. And the rookie at UCLA gets a foot in, and that ball squirts towards Spirit Hill and out for a corner. Hit a puddle there at the base of the hill.
Everything but this field is a puddle right now.
So a corner for Henderson, who has 2 assists on the year. Right-footed ball whipped in towards the far post, headed down by Oyster. Second ball volleyed high and wide by Brush, and it will be a goal kick for the Spirit here in the 11th minute.
And that clearance was just a little bit behind Brush. That's really not the type of clearance you want, inside your 18, a header down towards the ground that could be easily put away. But luckily for the Spirit, Brush was a little off balance.
We mentioned the production of the Crystal Dunns and Nairns and Ojais of the world that just missed out on the U.S. national team. Same could be said for Brush, who has a couple caps for Australia. Randy Waldrum able to find her and bring her in when she wasn't selected to the 23 for Canada. Axon, right for Masser. Up the line it comes looking for Ojai. Huster in good position. Will let it roll for a goal kick. Something that surprised me preparing for this game is how few shots Ojai has taken. She's only taken 16 shots, 9 on goal in 9 matches, and afforded for quality, you would think that she'd be getting more opportunities to score.
Well, as long as Jess McDonald's getting those opportunities.
Well, and she's finishing them too. I mean, Ojai's made 3 out of those 9 on target. McDonald's knocked in 5 out of 8. When you're that efficient, you don't need a lot of chances.
Right, exactly.
Ball from Nairns off the mark as it splits Didasco and Del Rio, and it will be a throw for Ella Master, which Mark Parsons will kindly hand over to her. Oyster stepping up to beat McDonald to that ball. Will go left for Del Rio. Inside now for Lohman. Salem with the switch right and off the mark for DaCosta and a throw for the dash off an unforced error.
Typically, those services from Salem and Nairn, both that just went out of bounds, that's not normal for them. Just slightly off with those types of services to the wide backs. Need to clean that up just a little bit to be able to connect side to side.
Do you attribute some of that to the layoff where you haven't played 90 minutes in a couple of weeks?
Potentially, but they've been training.
Yep. Salem. Short for DaCosta, now inside for Nairn. Lohman, as the Spirit finally get a chance to break forward. Dunn making the run in the channel. Del Rio also open to the left. It'll come left for Del Rio. Picked up now by Masser at the edge of the 18. Touch from Del Rio past Masser. Gets the cross and low by a sliding Dunn. And picked up on the other side of the box by the dash.
That actually was a very good service by Del Rio. The rest of the players were just a little bit too early in on their runs.
Attack looking for Ojai, but cut out well by Oyster and back to Weiss. Camila showing that Brazilian trait of even if you're a left back, you can attack and show some footwork. Nairn chesting it down, flipping it for DaCosta on the right side. Up the line it comes now for Lohman. Dunn making the run, and it looks like she was offside, and the flag will come up a half second later.
I think if we were a little bit higher back to our normal place, we'd have a little bit better of a view on that. But it almost looked like Ella Master was a little bit deeper and could have held her on sides.
Yeah, I was looking at the backs on that side, and it looked like she was definitely a couple steps off.
Sure.
But you're right, Master might have tucked and kept her on. Presley will launch it forward left-footed, looking for the head of McDonald, but it's went instead by Oyster for the Spirit. Nairn thought about going with the volley and decided to bring it down instead. Pass to the right, deflected by Tiffany McCarty. Church charging forward, scooping it, looking for Dunn, but out of bounds up the line, and a throw for Camila and the dash. No clear-cut chances to this one, but a decent pace so far from both sides. Few probes forward. Oyster's been busy in the air, wins that ball for Nairn. Didasco. Del Rio. Now Salem for Church. McCarty applying token pressure, forces her inside for Del Rio. Broken up by Presley. And Lohman dispossessed by Cross. Masser. Back for Brush. And a switch for Presley. May the 11th's been a big day in Tony Presley's life. May 11th of last year was when she was injured, tore that PCL and was out for a couple months. And then this year was the day she was traded from Western New York to Houston. So good news or bad news, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. The good news is she came back from that injury, and you know she's doing well so far this season. The bad news is maybe she didn't want to be traded from the Spirit to Western New York to Houston.
A lot of moving expenses,
Yes.
although she certainly has been a key part for Randy Waldrum since coming over. She started every match since that trade and has played every minute since that trade. Masser. Axon for Cross. Now McCarty. And back for Presley. Under pressure from Dunn. Will go square for Ellie Brush. Forced wide again.
I really like the patience from both sides defensively, really asking both teams to look to combine to get forward. You know, patience, getting numbers behind the ball, making them be really good to try to create something on both sides.
Chip from Axon will be shepherded back by Huster, and finally does roll out for a goal kick. And I was actually about to make the point about Tiffany McCarty that we've seen her maturation in 2 years since she was here with the Spirit, where she does seem like she's got a little bit more patience to her game and control, where she's not trying to just go forward every time she gets the ball.
Sure. And that's what you kind of expect out of rookies. You know, a little unsure about their rookie season, other than Megan Oyster. I think she's had a fantastic rookie season, as well as Church. But, you know, with Tiff McCarty coming in her first year here, she had the energy. She was great off the bench at times, but she really has matured over the last 2 seasons here at Houston.
Picked up by the Dashing Expansion Draft as Randy Waldrum had her at the youth level and really liked her game. And hard not to when you're the all-time winning scorer in the history of Florida State's program.
Oh, sure.
And she's been played in a bit of a different role than what she normally was used to as a collegiate player and as a pro for the Spirit, where she's playing more of a midfield role now. Third for Didasco. Del Rio almost handled that, but got away with it and is knocked out by Masser for another Spirit throw. Mark Parsons with some instructions as well as the ball. couple punches of the air there to make his point. Dunn will knock that out for a throw-in. The Dash should work their way out of a trouble spot, which the first 15 minutes of games, they've allowed 3 goals and scored none in the opening 15, but out of that stretch now, and they played much better in the middle 15 of the first half, scoring 2 goals and not allowing any.
Sure, and it's also going to be difficult for the Spirit as well. Henninger's has the most shutouts in the league so far this year, so they're gonna have to be good to put a ball in the back of the net.
And that's been a huge key to this unbeaten run, as they've only allowed 3 goals in this 5-minute stretch, and 2 of those 5-match stretch, and 2 of those were in the first match against Chicago. So she's gone shutout, goal in the 11th minute against Sky Blue, shutout and shutout. Salem with the steal, playing it for Nairn. Broken up by McDonald. Now the counter is one for Ojai at the top of the 18. 1-on-1 against Huster. Ojai's right-footed chip back towards the middle. Cleaned up by Oyster and out for a throw-in deep.
And that's a very uncharacteristic giveaway by Christine Nairn right there, close to the top of the 18, about 25 yards out. Not something you want to give away, especially looking to play a square ball in that space.
Can you imagine Ojai and Dunn playing on the same college team? They have very much that same trait of making defenders sweat and getting a lot of steals in the back. But that was the case in North Carolina. 2 key cogs in a program that just keeps on winning titles. Throw up the line, looking for the speed of Dunn in a race with Presley, and Presley uses her body to get in front of that one and win it.
That's going to be a good battle all night.
Henninger dribbling in her 18, looking for options deep. Now we'll hit it right-footed towards midfield, towards McDonald. Might have got a piece of that, but Huster will be there to clean up in the end. Then Ojai closing with lots of pace and forcing the pass back to Weiss. Oyster with a good ball to pick out DaCosta behind midfield, but fought for and won back by Camila for the Dash. Played left now for Melissa Henderson. Dash will try that again. Tangle there and a foul against Whitney Church for obstructing the run forward of Melissa Henderson, and a free kick on a good spot for the Dash to cross one in.
Not a terrible foul to make, because I think Whitney Church was absolutely beat in that moment, but also now it's a bad set piece that they're going to have to defend.
Yeah, it's pick your poison. Do you let her turn the corner on you, or do you want to give up a dangerous serve where they can bring Presley and Brush forward? McDonald and X and the other targets here at the far post in blue. Served in towards McDonald, and Weiss makes a nice catch in traffic. She'll look to punt quickly and spring Crystal Dunn. Camila wins the 50-50 header for Nikki Cross. Played forward now and worked right again for Cross. Early right-footed serve is a good one towards Ojai. She rises for it. Actually, that was Henderson, and just over her head. And Weiss will breathe a sigh of relief and roll that right.
And that was just great work rate from Nikki Cross to get back defensively on a potential 1v1 of Crystal Dunn in the back. And then she goes and wins it, plays in the midfield, gets it back, and then looks to serve that ball in. That was very dangerous from Nikki Cross.
Salem circling and now finding Huster. Didasco. This is what the Spirit, I think, won from Didasco, to get her a little bit more forward from that left back spot. Left now for Dunn. Marked by Masser as Didasco makes the run off her shoulder. Dunn now in the box. Plays in the low cross, cleaned up by Presley. Second ball will fall past the shoulder of Del Rio as Salem will call her off and work it back for Huster. Oyster up the line. DaCosta dropping it towards midfield for Nairn. She'll switch it left for Didasco. Heavy touch from Caprice, but she recovers and goes inside for Del Rio. Chip towards Lohman. Brought down by the chest of Lohman. Nice move from Lohman. Laying it off for Dunn. Shot is blocked. And finally cleared out for a throw-in by the dash. Nice little combination there.
Absolutely. Joanna Lohman did a great job to bring it down. It was 1v3 at that moment, though, when Crystal Dunn was trying to take a shot.
Back here now looking for Lohman, but sniffed out by Cross, who will find the feet of Axon in the middle. Now it's McCarty turning forward. Camila going left. Chance now on the 18. Early cross in, back across the 6 and cleared out by Huster. DaCosta trying to keep it alive and will do so. Game opening up a little bit more now.
I was just about to say the pace is certainly starting to pick up.
Switch now from Salem to Didasco, midway through the first half. Dunn trying to turn and will finally do so, but good work there from Brush to slow her down with the tackle. Well, Masser to collect.
Again, another situation where Crystal Dunn gets the ball at her feet. 3. Those odds aren't great for her.
Ojai steals it from Huster, now working towards the end line. Cross comes in, flicked out by the heel of Oyster. Axon fighting for it, but DaCosta quicker will drop it back for Church, who pops it up high into the evening sky and out for a throw-in. Presley with time to tee one up. Early serve towards Dunn, headed by Brush towards the corner. Brush will run it down and knock it out for a throw-in, but did save the corner there. Up comes Church to take. Still waiting for our first real shot on goal, but there's been danger for both sides, especially from the speed of Dunn on one side and Ojai on the other. McDonald's had some half chances as well. Dunn's cross there easily cut out by Nikki Cross, who will chip it long for Kalia Ojai. Oh, and that goes off her face from the deflection from Didasco. Saw that happen to Ella Masser the first time these two met. Masser on the ball now. Cross with time and space. Left for Camila.
There were a couple of injuries in that first matchup between the two of them, with Allie Krieger, Christine Nairn with her hand, where she probably should have come off, but there was no subs available, and then Ella Masser.
Took a couple weeks for Nairn to lose the soft wrap on that hand. Played through it and played through it very nicely. DaCosta coming inside and playing it for Christine Nairn. Touchback now for Salem. Left it comes for Del Rio. Behind the run of Dunn. Laid off now for Salem. Waves for Church to come forward and plays it for her. Lohman. Gets it back from Salem. Nairn wanted it in space for a second, but McDonald saw that and closed it down. Shot from deep from Crystal Dunn is well over, but worth a shot with not much forward, and the Houston dash back in good position.
Sure. Top of the 18, not bad. Pretty much her best strike so far of the evening. Maybe even the best look so far for the Spirit.
I think we've seen Dunn as more forward, be more willing to take that long shot. Popped up by Lohman, and I think it'll be a continuing conversation as it has been really since Crystal Dunn broke into the national team picture. What is her best position? Is she an outside back? Is she a mid? Is she a forward? It's nice to have the luxury of being able to play her anywhere, but as we saw with Kelly O'Hara last night, that versatility in the right spot can get you into the lineup for the national team.
Sure.
O'Hara is not someone that played a lot of outside mid, but with Rapinoe suspended, with Holiday suspended, O'Hara got the call and did very well against China yesterday.
Yeah, but seeing what O'Hara was able to do over the course of her collegiate career, and then with the national team at a forward in college, a back with the national team, she's a versatile player and can give valuable minutes anywhere on the field.
Dunn turning against it, looked like a handball there from Brush, and it will be called. Brushed against her hand. I had to.
But
yeah, free kick for the Spirit.
Incredibly unintentional, but the call had to be made.
Oyster with time to look forward. Kicks the chip to Church on the right flank. Now inside for DaCosta. Heavy touch there allows Henderson back into play to get a steal and play McCarty. Camila turning nicely at midfield, crossing the center stripe. Marked by Salem. Gets a step down, Angela Salem. Has McDonald in the middle. Deflected by Oyster, picked up by Nairn now, and that's where it's knocked out for a throw-in, as I believe the thought from Nairn there was that Camille was a little shaken up and wanted to make sure as there wasn't a ton of pressure on her to knock that out.
Right. And Whitney Church was pretty much wide open over there on the right flank. Or, no, I believe that was DaCosta.
McDonald will take the throw-in.
She's got a pretty long throw here. It absolutely can be dangerous in this situation.
Headed on frame, and now a chance on the far post from Ojai. I don't think she knew where that ball went off her initial touch. And then Lohman with a good sliding tackle to break things up temporarily. But now Ojai on the move again, but fouled Didasco in the process and will concede a free kick. But that throw from McDonald, going back to that, was very good.
Absolutely.
I believe Axon was the player that flicked it on.
And as the ball was coming in, Megan Oyster left her feet a little bit early, so she was a little bit early to try to really clear that ball. So made pretty much no contact.
Giveaway now to cross. Deflected by Del Rio. Now McCarty misjudges a header. McDonald pops it in for Henderson, gets a second look at it. Block time. Pinball finally ends with McCarty on the right side. And wisely takes a corner there with really no other option presented by Caprice Didasco's mark. And Melissa Henderson will jog over for the second time tonight. Take one from the right corner here in the 31st minute. No score here at the Plex. No real great chances on frame. That was probably the best one there from Houston. The sequence off the throw from McDonald a minute ago. Henderson hit a nice ball to the far post the first time. We'll see what she chooses here. Does the same thing. And again, it's Weiss making a catch in traffic as Tiffany McCarty was on the doorstep. Weiss again choosing to roll up the line. It comes now for Joanna Lohman. Salem. Inside now for Nairn. Del Rio sticks a hand up on the left side, calling for the ball from Christine Nairn, but it comes back instead for Huster.
She thought about it. She thought about the service, but kept it a bit simple.
Nairn will go direct this time for Del Rio. Headed in, but stolen by Cross, and the intended pass for Lohman. Knocked forward again. Brought down by the upper leg of Huster. Now drop back. Didasco. Comes back now for Weiss. Huster now. Stolen away by the tackle of McCarty. Now Ojai at the top of the 18, shaking and baking and trying to get an angle on Huster as deflected. McDonald stopped there. I believe she was appealing for a handball, which I didn't see from this angle.
I certainly thought Was that Oyster that got something on the ball there?
McCarty with a turn and shoot, and her chip towards the top corner is high and wide. I'm sure she'd love to score here against her old club.
So some of the best opportunities so far for the dash have been created by giveaways in the middle of the field. So they just got to be a little bit smarter. Trying to switch a point or just trying to create something out of the back. They have given away a couple of balls where it comes to Ojai's feet. She turns, she's off.
And Ojai is drifted to the right side of the field where she's attacking a left back, making her first start in Didasco, and a center back in Houston who's not a true center back. She's certainly played there a lot, as we've discussed before, but that would be the side I would pick on if I was a forward, as Dunn is offside.
Yeah. And she knew it, but she just continued to go forward.
Crystal Dunn, I'm sure, was, bumps and bruises, but I'm sure she was not happy to see the World Cup break just because she was in such good form.
Right.
She probably just wanted to keep playing.
Right.
Mentioned that her final start of the pre-World Cup cycle against Boston was the only start where she didn't score or get an assist. And that was after not scoring at all as a rookie. Certainly in a different role, but it's been an explosion from Crystal Dunn as she flies to get this ball and go to work against Brush on the left side. Dunn tries the near post shot, and easy scoop for Henninger, and she'll roll it out immediately and spring Camila down that left side as the Brazilians had an effective game going both ways.
Back, ladies.
McDonald.
I feel as McDonald's been a little quiet tonight. Really, I felt like we haven't really been saying her name that much. She needs to get a bit more involved if they want to try to kind of build a better attack for Houston going forward.
Del Rio turning and crossing midfield on the dribble. Lays it off right for DaCosta. Inside now for Dunn. The 1-2 back to DaCosta. First touch, though, is heavy. And Brush will knock it out as the rain picks up here at the Plex, and it goes out for a throw-in.
I thought we were going to be in the clear for the rest of the evening with this rain.
This is the Maryland SoccerPlex. We are never clear.
That's true.
DaCosta on the edge of the 18, dropping it back. Church will set up the right foot, play a good ball in behind Lohman, chested down by the veteran. Played in the box now for Dunn. And a tangle there and a foul against Dunn as she came in at a bad angle on Nikki Cross and gave up the foul.
So much for 20%.
We've talked about the effectiveness of these teams at forcing turnovers and turning them into chances. That's just going to increase with a wet field or a wet ball now.
Yeah, in a situation like this, where the rain has picked up, it's really just limit the mistakes in your backs and within your midfield, so you don't give out these silly turnovers.
And it's a good chance to shoot from deep when you have a wet ball too, as Nairn tries there and gets through cleanly for a goal kick.
And these are sometimes the games you don't mind as a player, where it starts and you're dry, and then as the game goes on, you get a little, it turns, I think, fun. It's a little fun as a player being out there when it starts raining. Makes things interesting, I guess you could say.
So we got 38 minutes in last week at Benedictine between the Red Stars and the Spirit. We're almost to that point right now between the Spirit and the Dash here at the Maryland SoccerPlex. Michael Minnick and Daniel Malagary here with you. Dry for once as we're inside because of the rain earlier. We decided for safety reasons not to be on the roof.
They were calling like all day for
Yep.
strong storms coming in around 7, 8, 9 o'clock. Seems as if it's potentially just the rain that's going to be coming now.
Lohman played inside by Church. Dunn will come back to collect possession and now turn forward with pace. Making the run forward is DaCosta, but broken up well by the Dash. Didasco will call off Salem, take a big touch forward, and now go left for Del Rio. Didasco making the run into space. Touches it back again for Laura Del Rio. Cross is deflected by Masser.
We're good. We're on 3 right now.
Salem called into service. Will play Didasco. And back again for Salem. Dash with 10 behind the ball as Del Rio picks it up in the middle of the park. Switch right for Church. Tangles with McCarty. And it'll be Tiffany McCarty getting to it last and looking to start the attack from deep in the far corner. Give away though to Nairn. Salem. Best ball possession really for the Spirit all evening as it comes left for Didasco. Ship centrally looking for Lohman as Brush did well to hold up her run and allow Henninger to come up and get it.
I think in the moment where Laura Del Rio, she dropped back to serve that ball out to Whitty Church, Tiff McCarty did a great job at reading that service and really taking a chance away from Whitney Church attacking up that right flank.
Outside backs have been attacking pieces for both sides. We've seen Camille get forward. We've seen Church get forward. We've seen Didasco get forward. Really, the exception's been Masser with a converted forward.
Right.
She's the one that's gotten up the least. Dunn's pressure wins a throw in here. She'll let Del Rio take it instead.
I think, though, if I was Ella Masser and I had to run with Crystal Dunn all game,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be getting up either.
Pick your spots
Sure.
to push forward.
But if anybody has the pace to keep up with Crystal Dunn, certainly Ella Masser.
Did well there, but did concede a corner. Oyster will come forward. Church will come forward. Huster will start the walk forward also as DaCosta comes back to cover. And the dash with everybody in the 18 is now Ojai heads in there. All hands on deck to defend this corner from Christine Nairn from the left side. An in-swinging ball from the third-year player out of Penn State. Towards the middle, headed out by McDonald. Second ball hit low by Huster, blocked by McCarty. Huster will collect and try again. Chip forward, intended for Lohman, headed down by Nikki Cross. Del Rio steals that ball, tries to shot from deep as it's blocked from Presley. I was waiting for a whistle to be called somewhere there as there was a lot of contact, but Matthew Franz let play continue. In the box now for Salem. Henderson gets a poke in and knocks it out for a corner.
There certainly was a lot of contact there with Del Rio, but she just she kept playing. It was almost as if everybody else stopped, but she just continued to go forward.
Nairn will take a look from the opposite side on this corner this time. Second of the match for the Spirit, matching the dash's number. Salem and Church on the goalkeeper. Dunn at the edge of the 6. Del Rio, Huster, and Oyster making runs from the left side of the 18. Lohman as well. Serve from Nairn, headed by a dash player across the face of goal. Kept alive by Ojai on the near sideline. Switch inside. By the contorting Salem will find the feet of Axon and she'll go left. Camila. Good tackle from Lohman to steal the ball back for Nairn. DaCosta. Goes right for Lohman. Up the line now. Whistle there and a foul against the Spirit. As Del Rio got a foot in there, and a free kick for the dash will come here in the 41st minute.
And that's another hard tackle from Del Rio. You remember the one earlier in the match over here in front of the Spirit bench. That's certainly worth a potential warning. Maybe not a yellow card, but definitely a warning from the referee.
You know, it's been a physical game, but we haven't really seen a lot of bad tackles with such a cut off Ojai's run on the initial flick for McDonald. Weiss's high punt towards Crystal Dunn, headed back by Nikki Cross for the dash. Masser will play it square, and under pressure, Presley will knock it long to deny Dunn's challenge and concede a throw in deep to the Spirit and Didasco. Huster for DaCosta, who's flipped sides now with Del Rio. And a pass off the mark there will give away a throw. Ohio wants to take it quickly. Will do so. Good turn inside for McDonald. Now in the box now for McCarty. McCarty's shot is blocked by Huster and out for a corner.
Again, another good opportunity for Houston from a mistake from the Spirit. A simple pass just straight out of bounds from Angela Salem.
Henderson putting both arms in the air to signal a play here from the right corner. Dash will stack up on the far post as it comes in and will be punched by Weiss, as that was right in the area where there are about 4 or 5 Dash players clustered. Del Rio will take her time, allow teammates to get forward, and now turn on the Jets and work up the sideline. Looking for Dunn, it's blocked. And now possessed by Axon in the middle for the Dash. Camila charging forward. Trying the left-footed shot and just past Weiss. I think she would have had it covered if it had been on target, but not too far off of that far post. Quick restart for Didasco.
Keepers out.
Lohman.
Quickly.
Layoff from Dunn.
Guys.
Broken up by Henderson coming back. She'll return it from Masser.
40 yards of space.
Didasco now. Up the line, and Dunn had her back turned, didn't see that was coming, and it'll go out harmlessly for a throw in here in the 44th minute.
And Houston's been doing such a good job this half of just being patient defensively. They're not really diving in. They're not really giving the Spirit much to work with. And they're making the Spirit have to be good to try to attack. They're just being very smart defensively.
Good idea, Joe.
Presley. Ella Masser.
Well done, well done.
Oyster in front of Ohio will win that ball for Salem. Dunn trying to turn. Stolen by Masser. Axon. And now Presley has plenty of time and space to pick out a ball here as we move towards the end of the regular 45. We'll see how much stoppage time we got to figure it'll be a minimum, if at all.
Again, another situation where the ball goes into Crystal Dunn's feet. She has Brush in behind her. She has Masser to her right, and Nikki Cross kind of falling in on her from the midfield. Just a tough situation for Crystal Dunn to get herself out of.
Turnover here allows Del Rio. She'll try the chip from well out, and Henninger was pretty far back. She was on her line, so that would have taken a lot, and that's the final kick of the first half. So no stoppage time, no goals to speak of, Danielle, but two teams that are playing good soccer right now.
Yeah, the soccer's pretty good. The chances for either side, I think it's the final ball that really needs to be a little bit better for both sides. Like I've been saying most of the half, Crystal Dunn's being almost triple teamed every single time the ball gets to her foot. So the Spirit have to be a little bit better going forward and trying to find other options, like Del Rio in that moment. A little bit optimistic with that shot, but they have to just be a little bit smarter going forward.
With the exception of a couple runs by Wilman, this is about as little as we've seen those three midfielders get for. Nairn's really, except for the shot from deep, really not had a lot of touches within 35 yards of goal.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Joanna Lohman loves to make those runs out of the midfield, so you need to continue to see that a little bit more. Nairn is sitting in a little bit more than what she usually does. So there's really no other options running out of the midfield at this moment.
By contrast, Henderson and McCarty have provided attacking options from the midfield for Houston.
Oh, sure. But like I said earlier in the half, McDonald, I think, has just been a little bit quiet this evening. I think they need to find her a little bit more if they want to think about even being successful in this game. Ohio, I think, has been all over the place. She's been great for Houston so far in this first half.
So no goals to speak of so far between the Washington Spirit and Houston Dash. We'll take a break, and we'll talk more about this first half and preview the second. You're watching the NWSL on YouTube. Stick with us.
It's in the net. Onyewu has scored. That is Zoe Alexander. He can play linebacker. He can play defensive tackle. This is a gifted athlete, and obviously he can play special teams. Josh Morgan, touchdown.
So blogging to me is a very American thing. Blogging means freedom.
I feel like I'm part of something important, and that's really important to me.
Being a local photographer, there are opportunities when I've photographed people or gone to events where they say, I've read your blog.
They want content, they're interested in good content, and they support you.
Have a passion? Blog about it at mymcmedia.org.
Back to Maryland SoccerPlex, Michael Menacon, Daniel Malagari. No goals to speak of so far between the Washington Spirit and the Houston Dash, and this is kind of familiar ground for the Spirit, Danielle. They've actually played several matches where it's been tied at the break, 0-0
Right.
especially. Just the second time, though, Houston's been tied at the half, so that game ended in a 0-0 tie.
Sure. And I think for both teams in the second half, they both need to have a little bit more of a sense of urgency going forward. The patience was good from both sides, but neither team was really dominant in their attack. So both teams just a little bit more sense of urgency to kind of put a ball on frame, make the goalkeepers actually have to make a save in this half, because I really feel like Weiss and Henninger really didn't have to do too much in the first half.
Yeah, just 3 shots on goal, 2 for the Spirit, 1 for the Dash. 7 total shots for Washington, 6 total shots for Houston, and both teams had a couple corners. Houston had 3, Washington had all square here as we head into the second half, and it looks like both teams are going to stick with the 11 that began the match for Randy Waldron. That's Bianca Henninger, Camila, Presley, Brush, and Master in the back. McCarty, Cross, Axon, and Henderson across the midfield, and McDonald and Ojai up top. For Mark Parsons in the Spirit, Kelsey Weiss in goal. Caprice Didasco, Tori Huster, Megan Oyster, and Whitney Church across the back. Joanna Lohman, Christine Nair, and Angela Salmon in midfield. And Del Rio, Dunn, and DaCosta up front as the Spirit get us underway, going from left to right here in half number 2. Rain has tapered off a little bit, but still is going to be a factor for the rest of this one. Mentioned the stat earlier. The Spirit on the year are 2-0-1 when tied at the half. The Dash just have the 1 scoreless draw against Portland when even at the break. And seemingly just about every game here at the Plex has been tied at the half. Portland was an exception as all 3 goals were in the first half. Turnover here. Salem comes crashing in and knocks it out for a throw-in off the deflection. Spirit looking to move into first place tonight. If they get all 3 points, they'll have 17, 2 ahead of Chicago, 3 ahead of Seattle, and 4 ahead of this Dash club. They would have had a little bit extra match in hand, though, as this will be the 10th match for the Spirit this year. Cross in by Dunn towards the Costa, and a vital foot there in from Camila to knock it out for a corner. Dash right now in that 4th and final playoff spot on 13 points out of 9 matches, plus 2 in goal differential. They're 2 points ahead of Boston and FCKC for that last spot, 3 ahead of Portland and Western New York, and 6 ahead of Sky Blue FC.
And it's really good to see in the standings how close between the first place team and the 7th or 8th place team. It's only 5 points, and that's what you certainly want to see in a league like this.
Unlike last year when Seattle ran away.
Absolutely.
Corner from Nairn. Towards the far post, followed in by Huster. And did that come off the line? It was not cleared off the line as Huster gets a goal, as it is going to not be called a goal. They pointed towards the circle, and then we continued, so Parsons is still appealing.
Shall we go to our goal line technology?
Oh, wait.
Oh. It did. Everybody is giving that AR a hard time. Especially Nairn, who probably had a decent look at it after taking the corner.
Huster hit that from point-blank range, so hard to figure out how that didn't go in unless it was right off the bar and out.
And that was a good service as well from Christine Nairn. Kind of no-man's zone for Henninger. Henninger held her line for Huster to come in and make that good play.
Nairn. Now it's Del Rio. Turn on a dime from Dunn inside. Picked up by Presley and cleared. We'll tell the game to slow down for a minute or two so you can go back and look at that on YouTube, folks.
Let us know.
Yes.
Send us some messages. Let us know.
Oyster on the ball now, going right. Chested down low by Church in space. Played inside now for DaCosta. In the box now for Dunn. Good turn from Dunn, held off by Presley, and that allows Master to come in and knock it out for a corner. So the Spirit looking to reprise the result from the last one, except they're hoping this one counts.
What a great piece of skill from
Yep.
Whitney Church to
Yep.
bring the ball, about a 40-yard ball in the air off her chest behind the backs, and just play it down to create something out of that.
Church will jog forward now to be a target for her former college teammate Christine Nairn on the set piece. Salem is coming over to the corner. Maybe she'll either show short or take it herself. Hand up from Nairn. Serve from Nairn. Headed out this time by McDonald, no fuss. DaCosta. Huster chipping it up. Del Rio shielding and dropping it back for Oyster. And a giveaway there. Throw for the dash in the 50th minute.
You don't see that real often from Megan Oyster, that kind of play directly out of bounds.
Oyster with a rare mistake in her first professional game that allowed Kiwi Ojai to score a goal in that 2-0 win
Yep.
for Houston.
And she's learned from that.
Yep.
She doesn't take on from the center back position anymore. At this level, that's hard to do.
And what I liked about Mark Parsons after that game was he said, yes, there was one mistake, but I thought she was one of our best players in that game. And that's the life of a defender. You make one mistake and you get in trouble,
Right.
but your other 89 minutes are perfect. Nobody's going to remember that. Dunn, dancing, laying it out right. DaCosta is offside.
DaCosta did a good job to hold her run for as long as she could. I think Crystal Dunn held the ball a little bit too long. DaCosta was in, a couple touches sooner.
Kind of looking to pass through the jungle there. There are a lot of dash players near Crystal Dunn, not allowing her to make that clean pass when she wanted to. Left-footed spinner from Tony Presley, flicked on by the head of McDonald. Henderson at the top of the 18, laying it off now. Inside it comes for McDonald. Nice touch inside for Ojai, but a strong challenge from Didasco, and then crashing in to miss well high and wide was Rachel Axon.
What great vision for Jess McDonald to receive the contest for a header, spin out, get a one-time touch into Ojai. What great work from Jess McDonald.
Be interesting, win, lose, or draw for the U.S. in this World Cup. What they do in the next year or so is the new cycle starts with the Olympics. Maybe we see the Jess McDonalds get a look, as she really has not gotten a call from Jill Ellis or Tom Sermani before that. But I think she's earned it, as we'll continue here as Presley and Dunn made contact, and the Spirits bench wanted a foul on Tony Presley but didn't get the call. Turn inside from Dunn. Tries the shot. It's deflected by Presley and almost digs by hitting her at the near post. There's an alert play there from the 24-year-old from Los Gatos, California, to dive like a cat and save that one.
You with your jokes today. You were on point. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
The Bucks loves it too. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To make them laugh occasionally
Right.
and then groan at the other 10 jokes I
Yeah.
tell. Ball comes left for Camila. Lohman dumping it into space, looking for Dunn, but easy pick for Hettinger. Brush knocking it forward. Chested down by Ojai, and a tangle. Didasco comes out with it and plays it square for Nairn. All the way back to Weiss, who hasn't had too much to do so far today. Might have to work now as she gives the way though to Henderson. Deflected by Salem inside, but given right back to Tiffany McCarty. Henderson to her left. McDonald in the box to her right. Salem tackles it away. First time cross in by Henderson, headed out by Oyster. Lohman looking forward now. Del Rio trying to turn, but a good stand up for Master to start the attack for Ojai. Ojai turning on the Jets in the box, tries the right-footed shot, and Weiss gets just enough of it to deflect it wide.
Two giveaways, one by Kelsey Weiss on a potential clearance or actually trying to find Whitney Church on the right-hand side, and then Joanna Lohman. This is where you have to minimize your mistakes. You cannot be giving these types of balls away. Eventually, Houston's going to turn and capitalize on one of these opportunities.
These two teams have had success with their corners today.
Sure.
We'll see what Houston can do with this one from the left side in the 54th minute.
It's a bad giveaway from Kelsey Weiss, but we've certainly seen worse goalkeeping giveaways here at the Maryland SoccerPlex.
McCarty. Henderson goes down. No whistle is a good back heel from DaCosta, gets it to Nairn, and she'll just knock it out of pressure. Dunn charging forward as Camila goes down in a heap and is whistled for the foul. It's actually going to be a free kick for the Spirit. Why not give advantage there?
At these last 10 minutes here has certainly kind of amped this game up a little bit by some of, obviously, the goal, which was called a no goal.
And a yellow for Camila.
Yeah.
In the book for the second time in her 3-game dash career.
The energy's certainly going to pick up here.
Nairn's spotting this one behind midfield. I think she should move it up about 5 more yards, but she's happy to go up the line for DaCosta from that spot. Dumped in, looking for Dunn. Presley standing her ground well, but Dunn fights forward and steals it away. Dunn in the box, cutting back on her left foot. Dunn's shot is off the bar and in. Crystal Dunn scoring goal number 7 on the year, and that cold streak ends at 1 game.
Sure, 7 goals in 10 games for Crystal Dunn. What a huge part of this Spirit squad. And even with that foul on Dunn, I was about to say, she's the wrong person to probably make angry, because she can absolutely capitalize on any one of these opportunities. And you saw that. She just spun Presley and just got into the box and boom, right off the top, right off the crossbar. We
said that would be a key battle tonight, and it certainly proves to be the case.
Absolutely has been. Absolutely has been. But, you know, I think a lot of that energy came from frustration. She's been taken down a lot. She's been triple teamed a lot this evening as well. So she really hasn't been much on her game. Probably a little frustrating for her in the first 55 minutes until that goal.
Dunn scoring in the 56th minute. So the Spirit now have scored 8 goals, 8 of their 16, so half, in the first 15 minutes of halves. First 1 through 15 in the first half, 46 through 60 in the second half.
And in the past, that was not a good statistic for the Spirit. They've given up most of their goals either in the last 15 minutes of a half or the first 15 minutes of a game.
And on the flip side, that's now 6 out of 10 the Dash have allowed in the first 15 minutes of halves. First time that Bianca Henninger's picked the ball out of the net since way back on May the 31st against Sky Blue FC. 2 shutouts between that time.
And you have to wonder if Jill Ellis is paying attention. Obviously,
not right now.
Not right now. She's got a lot going on for herself at this moment. But, you know, once the World Cup's over, she's going to obviously pay attention to what Crystal Dunn's been able to do for the Spirit over the course of this season, not being chosen onto the World Cup roster.
That's the hardest. I think that's the hardest shot I've seen Crystal Dunn score on this year.
Right.
I mean, that was just tasered into the corner off the bar. Dunn now has 7 of the Spirit's 16 goals this year. Lohman now. Didasco dropping it back for Houston, who will knock it long and over the head of Lohman. Spirit this year wins scoring first. 2 wins and 2 draws as Lohman looks to add to that stat here in the left corner. Dunn calling for it at the top of the 18. Drop back now for Nairn. Cuts back there and loses her footing, and they will call the foul. I'm not sure how much of that was foul and how much of that was slip, but the Spirit will get the call. The Dash, by the way, just 2 points out of the 4 matches that they've conceded first. 2 losses, 2 draws. Christine Nairn eyeing this one from the left side. Ball in towards the middle, looking for the head of Del Rio, but it's headed out by Axon. Brought down at the top of the 18 by Nairn. She'll try again. In a forest of players, she'll cut back and find the feet of Salem. Church. DaCosta. Sliding challenge there will briefly wrest possession away from the Spirit as Brush got a foot in, but now it's Dunn going to work again. Trying the right-footed shot from deep again, and this time Henninger will watch it go wide.
And this is something I talked about before halftime. Obviously, Houston's been defending the last couple of minutes here, but there needs to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency for both sides going forward because there wasn't many great opportunities in the first half, but the Spirit have really come out blazing in the first 15 minutes of the second half and has put a ton of pressure on the Houston back line.
Ojai laying it off. Axon will go up the line. Oyster there in position will knock out for a throw-in. And that was so much of the story of the player fund last year was this team would come in, maybe the first half wasn't great, they'd find another gear in the second half, and they'd get results. Trying to extend a undefeated start at home are the Spirit. 3 wins and a draw so far. Axon. Pass from Ojai to the left side is deflected. Stolen by Lohman. Now Salem will switch it for Didasco. Didasco will take the space, continue to do so. Dunn checks short, gets the ball, and then drops for Nairn. We're seeing Nairn get a lot more forward in this half as well.
And that's something we did talk about, the runs out of the midfield from Joanna Lohman and Christine Nairn.
Nairn again. Salem. Didasco. Space for Caprice to pick a ball. Lofson, a good cross, and it's headed by Presley towards the far corner and out for a corner kick. Nairn to take. Salem available short as she was in the last set piece for Washington. Lohman, far post, Del Rio as well. Huster, Oyster. Church showing short. Nairn's ball towards the 6, over everybody, intended for Huster and Oyster. And it will finally go off for a goal kick on the near side.
And you typically on corner kicks have somebody make that run, beyond the far post. But on that corner kick, you saw a couple of players going over to the corner as opposed to being a little bit further on the opposite side. So there's not that extra player to kind of clean it up when a service everybody.
Stoppage here is Dash have a player shaken up.
Looks like Jess McDonald.
And they'll wave for the trainer immediately to take a look at Jess in the center circle. Also a chance for Houston's players to get water. Spirit will huddle with the exception of Crystal Dunn, who needs some water to cool off. She'll get some words from Mark Parsons as well as she makes this visit to the sideline. She's our goal scorer, the only one so far, Crystal Dunn, striking in the 56th minute to extend her league lead.
It seemed as if the official was a little bit nervous about Jess McDonald going down and really not moving much from the contact.
Spirit ending a cold spell against the Dash that has stretched over 200 minutes. Lisa Devanna scored in the 1-1 tie on July 17th against Houston, and then Spirit didn't score the rest of that match as Marissa Diggs got a goal back and the Dash got a point on that date. And then, of course, the season opener this year, Carly Lloyd and Kalia Ojai striking for Houston as they got a 2-0 win. Goal also means that the Spirit will not be shut out. That's a streak that extends back to that loss against Houston to open the season. Huster. Brush will go back. McDonald is back on, by the way, so we're 11 on 11. Ball comes to the right side. Master wins the throw for herself. Brush tangles there with Lohman, and the whistle goes against Brush. Free kick for the Spirit. Both teams with all three substitutes available, as this is the time of game you start to really think about that. 65th minute. Spirit have a very thin bench tonight, only 4 players available, counting the backup goalkeeper, Lindsay Hokinson. Tiffany Weimer, Catherine Reynolds are options as well off the bench for Washington.
And it seems as if Tiffany Weimer's been doing the majority of the warm-up over here. So maybe we'll see her again this evening.
Salem waiting the header for Lohman. Now Nairn. Switch right for Church. Jen Skograbo also on that Spirit bench. Dunn tried to turn inside, but sniffed out well by Nikki Cross. She's seen that in training a few times. Ball comes left. Played forward now. Camila. Ojai at the edge of the 18. Whips it across towards the far post, rising forward as McDonald just wide of the target. And we've seen her this year score goals on plays like that. It was like, oh, it's going to go over her head.
Right.
And then
No.
she rises forward and it goes in the goal.
Why not? Jess McDonald's in there. Why not? She absolutely can turn that into a good opportunity.
McDonald has been a killer of the Spirit side historically. 5 goals in 5 games. Lohman. I remember the first Fox Soccer Channel game when the Spirit were out west against Seattle. She had a very good match. I think she scored both goals in that game. After Matheson had scored for the Spirit.
Did she come off the bench in that game?
I believe she did.
Yeah.
Right after that incident we mentioned earlier where she was let go by Chicago, picked up by Seattle, finished out the season very well for them, then ended up in Portland. Started that year on fire as the ball comes in towards Ojai and headed out by Oyster. And then when the Thorns got their big names, when Morgan was healthy, when Sinclair was healthy, Jess McDonald's moved into a bit of a secondary role.
Right.
And now she's been set free to terrorize defenses in Houston.
Sure, but what a great, up in Portland, what a great option coming off of the bench. Obviously, she's doing great things here in Houston, and she's going to want to be a 90-minute player, but coming off the bench and scoring 2 goals like we just talked about against the Spirit, what a great option.
Well, we saw it here when the Thorns were here last year when the Spirit had gotten back in that game with a Nairn goal, and then as Dunn plays that in towards the middle behind the run of Lohman. But McDonald came in, and the floodgates opened from there.
Right.
The Thorns were able to turn that into a blowout win. Tackle there from Didasco. McDonald unfazed will drop it back for Masser. Axon. Dasher readying a sub. It's Jen LaPont. Shot from deep will go high and wide. And we'll see LaPont here, the 24-year-old from Castro Valley, California, played at Santa Clara. Way. LaPont making her 4th appearance, 2nd as a substitute this year for Randy Waldron's club. It looks like a straight swap at that left back spot for Houston. 50-50 header popped up towards the near sideline, kept alive by DaCosta as both teams were pleading for a foul there and didn't get what they wanted. Dunn dancing, cutting inside on cross, giving LaPont a baptism in this game as it comes inside for Lohman. Comes left now. Ball deflected. Popped up now and dangerously as DaCosta was fighting for it. Now Salem looking to get a foot on the end of it. Being fought for in the corner by LaPont, and Salem finally knocked out for a Spirit throw.
A little bit of a hot potato there. Nobody really getting a decent touch inside the 18. Neither teams.
DaCosta's throw will come towards Dunn. Touch back for DaCosta and off the mark, and a deep throw for the Dash, which they will have to take quickly so they can get out of this pressured area. Ojai flicking it centrally for McDonald. She'll return the favor, but Church gets in. Church has had a good match tonight. Salem. Dunn. Steal from Tiffany McCarty. Turns on the speed as Dunn comes back. And a foul from DaCosta.
And going back to what you just said about Whitney Church, it's all about her kind of learning that position as well, coming from a center back at Penn State. And then starting here, she's really starting to get comfortable with her runs going forward and then her services off of the flank. She's really, starting to do some good things for the Spirit as a right back.
Stolen by Lohman and now laid into space for Dunn. She'll turn on the speed. Dunn in the box on her left foot, tries the shot and past a fully extended Henninger, it goes wide.
And those are the mistakes that Houston doesn't want to make, especially when you have the likes of Crystal Dunn running at your back line.
Something we haven't talked about going back to Church. Spirit are starting 3 rookies in the back tonight. And they're pitching a shutout through 70 minutes plus. We don't think about Oyster and, Church as rookies because they've been stalwarts.
Exactly.
Dagasko certainly getting her first start has done the job well, stepping in. Second change on the way for Randy Waldron's Jordan Jackson at the 4th official right now. Good turn from Salem in the center circle. Chipping it into space, looking for Del Rio, who leaps for it, hopefully, but she was never going to get high enough to get that ball, and it comes all the way through.
Great idea, just a little bit too far beyond her.
Lohman opening up space to find Angela Salem's feet, and now back for Tori Huster.
I think Joanna Lohman's had a good game in the midfield. She's competed for many of the 50-50 balls in the middle of the field, and she's been kind of making runs both directions.
Dunn playing it off the leg of the defender Brush for a throw in, and we'll see Jackson now, second change for Houston. Melissa Henderson coming off. I thought Henderson started this match well, but I think she's faded a bit in the second half.
She definitely was a bit quiet here in the second half.
Jackson, the 24-year-old from Overland Park, Kansas, part of that great pool of young players from the Kansas City area that's come into the league in the last couple years. Dunn fighting for a corner and not winning that fight as it goes up for a goal kick, and Henninger begging for a ball from the ball girl on the far side. So one change left for Houston. Spirit have all 3 remaining.
It seemed as if the Spirit were potentially going to make a change with Tiffany Weimer up and warming up for much of the second half. But she's back down to the bench.
Stolen by DaCosta, and if we did see Weimer, I think this would be the most minutes she's played and at once. She came in very late in that Portland game and then only played a couple of minutes in the following match against Boston. She's only played a total of 10 minutes this year. Henninger will call off Presley and knock it out for a throw-in. Crystal Dunn, your goal scorer so far. That goal sticking for the Spirit through 73 minutes and change here at the Maryland SoccerPlex. Michael Minnick and Daniel Maligari here with you. Thanks for joining us here as NWSL action resumes here after the World Cup break, and the Spirit playing their first game that has counted since June the 6th, as that game at Chicago last week was halted by thunderstorms. Megan Oyster's first professional goal wiped out of the record books. Again, that game will be made up at a later date. We don't know what that is yet, but
with the amount of minutes that she's given to the Spirit this year, I'm pretty sure she'll get way more opportunities through the rest of her career.
And with the quality of servers from Nairn and Salem on these corner kicks that she's going to come up for, you're right, she's going to get her looks. McCarty now. Trying the shot from deep, blocked by Church, popped up by Didasco, and now volleyed on the second try. And they'll immediately call for the trainer here, as it looked like it might have been a high kick.
I think her and Houston might have went head-to-head, and she was certainly stumbling standing up. She looks as if she doesn't even really have her balance at this moment.
So we'll have our second stoppage here in the second half to treat a dash player.
Jordan Jackson, who just came into the game about 2 minutes ago.
This is a big stretch of the schedule for the dash. At Washington, home against Chicago, at FC Kansas City, home against FC Kansas City, and then back here to play the Spirit. So 3 teams that are in playoff position right now and the defending champs. The Spirit, on the other hand, will be at FC Kansas City next week and then back here to play Seattle, Chicago, and Houston. So their stretch isn't that easy either.
Right. But again, looking at the standings, really no game is going to be easy for any team going into the final stretch of the season.
2 games tonight, this one obviously, and then Seattle hosting FC Kansas City. That at 10:30 Eastern time, as the Dash will knock that out for a goal kick after the stoppage. Good sportsmanship there. And then tomorrow it'll be Boston hosting Western New York at 5 Eastern and Sky Blue FC hosting Chicago at 6 Eastern. So again, if the Spirit can hold this result, they'll be in first place. But they will have played, of course, 10 games to Chicago's 8 and Seattle's 8. So both those teams have matches in hand to make up that ground.
As do they,
right.
with the game against Chicago.
What a turn from Dunn. She's loose on the right side again, looking for a second. Playing it hard towards the far post, and that might have been a shot, actually. She definitely hit it with some effort and not really the kind of lofted cross you'd expect from that area, but
every
went
single
wide.
time Crystal Dunn's received a ball 1v1, she's been able to beat her defender. But every single time she's received it and had 2 or 3 players around her, it's been frustrating for her. So Houston really has to focus on not allowing her to get those 1v1 opportunities to get in behind.
Axon pushing forward. Essentially, it comes now for Nikki Cross, the former Spirit player. Cuts it back on Salem. Now we'll switch it right. Not enough mustard on that one, as Del Rio will get a steal. Drops for Huster. And then just hit clear as the Spirit will resume their shape and defend Ali Brush here. Brush's chip forward. Turned by Ojai wide. Huster coming over to help. Finally wins that ball somehow against 2 players. Chip forward again by Cross. Ojai will try again. Marked by Caprice Didasco. Gets the right-footed cross off, but Huster will head it, and I don't think she headed that one cleanly. She kind of stumbled a bit after she hit that one. Didn't get the pace she wanted on that clearance, but the Spirit do retain possession here through Dunn. Whistle here, and
certainly a yellow card for Brush.
Brush will see it. Her first booking of the year and her 5th appearance for Houston. Third and final sub on the way for Houston. It's Allie Bailey, one of the contingent of Texas A&M players on this roster. And she'll replace Axon. So Bailey, who scored the first amateur goal in league history back on May 31st against Sky Blue FC, trying to add a spark to the attack here. And when she scored in that Sky Blue FC game, it was the same kind of scenario. Down 1-0. She was able to score in the 86th minute and get the Dash a point on the road. So that's all the chest Randy Waldrick can play. All 3 subs used up. Mark Parsons has all 3 of his still available.
And seeing, Allie Bailey coming in, seeing her stats from college, 100 appearances for A&M and 29 goals, 16 assists, she absolutely has the ability to make a difference in a game like this.
Sixth appearance, all as a sub for the 21-year-old. Angela Salem now on the ball. Dropping it back for Oyster. So it's Henninger, LaPont, Presley, Brush, Masser, McCarty, Cross, Bailey, Jackson, McDonald, and Ojai for Houston. Spirit with the same 11 that started. Weiss, Didasco, Huster, Oyster Church, Loman, Nairn, and Salem, Del Rio, Dunn, DaCosta, and Crystal Dunn has the only goal tonight so far. A rocket of a left foot to finish off the crossbar and down. The Spirit had a close call earlier in the half as Weiss will punch it and Jackson will be on the end of it as Tori Huster's point-blank chance off a corner kick was ruled to have not crossed the line. Del Rio for Dunn. Sees it on the right, charges forward, tries to shot from deep. It's deflected off the back of Presley, and that'll knuckle into the gloves of Henninger, and she will look to punt.
If you notice, that was a good attack by the Spirit, but if you notice now, Houston has gone to the 3-back. Ella Masser's sitting a little bit higher. Obviously, as a striker, they're going to probably be a little bit more direct with their play here in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, sitting as a center forward right now, Ella Masser. With
the way they're lined up, it's like a 3-3-3-1
well, yeah.
in this moment.
Not a lot of width. It's
Yes.
going to be very direct if this is the formation. Weiss knocking it forward. Presley tangled up with Dunn. Presley will knock it towards McDonald, who chests it down, looks to turn, lays it off wide right. Ball looking for Ojai, too far from the second-year player at UNC, and it will be a goal kick for Kelsey Weiss here in the 82nd minute.
Just expect in the last 8 minutes, plus stoppage time for the Spirit just to defend.
Yep.
Because, Houston's just going to throw their numbers forward to see if they can just get the equalizer.
Yeah, Dunn's going to be the outlet, and then everybody else is going to kind of sit in the midfield or in the back and help out that back four. Which, if you're going to have an outlet, it doesn't hurt to have the fastest player in the league.
Yeah.
Sliding tackle from Loman, wins the ball. Nairn now for DaCosta. Charging is Del Rio. Laying it into space now for Dunn. Presley has the angle. We'll let it roll.
That sort of service is going to be hard for Crystal Dunn to run onto.
Presley looking for Masser. Won instead by Church. Kept alive by DaCosta, but possession given away to Masser. And off the foot of DaCosta, it'll be a dash throw, which Presley will come up to take. And Presley's someone else you can bring forward as an option. We saw her play a little bit of forward last year for the Spirit as a late sub. We mentioned Cross's experience as a forward. You've got a lot of attacking options. If the dash can just hold the ball and get some possession. Crowd not liking the continuation to play here and the no call from Matthew Franz, but the dash will possess through Jackson. Good ball left for Ojai. 1-on-1 against Church, cutting back. Ojai with an angle, takes the shot, and a good save from Kelsey Weiss.
Great save from Kelsey Weiss. I was wondering if she was even going to be able to see that ball come off of Ojai's foot. But that was a great read by Kelsey Weiss just to push it wide at the far post.
Now a corner to defend for the Spirit in the 84th minute.
But what a great rip by Ojai from the top of the 18.
Created space for herself
Absolutely.
very well. Church had her marked, and then back she went on that right foot. Got good space to shoot and picked a good spot. Nikki Cross taking the set piece now with Henderson out of this one. Oyster marking McDonald. Comes in low, and that's an easy cleanup for Lohman.
It's definitely not the type of service you want to put in.
Left-footed ball in towards the top of the 18, towards McDonald. Flicked down, kept alive now by Masser, and cleared by Oyster forward. And we'll repeat with a throw-in on this side. LaPonte's toss up the line. Chested down by Del Rio. She has space to take another touch. Now stood up by Presley. Franz letting play continue as he walks in, and then he'll award the throw-in.
Presley has certainly had a couple of tough tackles here in the last couple of minutes. 2 against Crystal Dunn. And I actually thought that should have been a foul.
Dunn trying to flip it for herself over the head of Presley, but brush over to collect. Playing in the 18. Oyster chests it down for Salem. Del Rio never really got a handle on that one, and that'll level Pont back into play.
The possession for the Spirit in the last few minutes has definitely not been their best.
All the way to Weiss. She's looking for her second shutout with the Spirit this year. First one came, of course, in that dramatic stoppage time winner from Francisco Ordega against Sky Blue FC, 1-0. DaCosta. McCarty. Good turn from McCarty. Blocked by Salem. McCarty will try again. Goes right this time, but one low by Didasco. Nairn turning upfield.
You have to wonder at this moment in the 86th minute, is there going to be any sort of game management from Mark Parsons, maybe with a sub or two, kind of slow the game down a little bit?
Has all three available if he wants to do that.
Absolutely.
Oh, high again, carving out some space. That one deflected by Oyster. McDonald can't find it, and Weiss with some game management there, keeping it at her feet before she picks it up.
Sure. And this is not normal for Mark Parsons. He usually, makes at least 2 subs at this point in the game. But obviously only having 14 players, or I guess 4 players available off the bench.
Kept alive in the corner by Brush. Every second matters for the dash. Henninger knocks it forward. McCarty knocking on with her head. Space now to look forward for Jackson, and she goes left for Ojai. Masser and McDonald forward as Ojai charges up the left side. Beats Church with pace. Trying to get by Oyster. Takes a theatrical flop in the box and does not get that call.
Nope. I absolutely thought Oyster, she had her feet moving. Ojai just pushed it really far beyond her and almost ran into the contact.
Throw will come.
Ojai, I meant.
Throw will come on the near side for Cross in the dash in the 87th minute. Be the long throw again from McDonald. In towards the near post. Headed by Nairn. Second ball. Woman gets a piece of it. Collected now by McDonald. Right-footed ball will switch it. Brush, the only player besides Henninger behind midfield, will knock it forward again. Volleyed by Salem. Dunn chasing after this one. Brush with the better angle, but Dunn closing that gap, and if she had a couple more yards, she would have gotten to that ball. And draws the foul here. Brush already has a yellow, yeah. Crystal Dunn not happy.
She's the last 15 minutes or so, she's gotten a couple shoves from behind.
Spirit will just waste some time here as DaCosta plays it up the line, and Lohman will walk it towards the corner, marked by Tiffany McCarty. Picked up now by Jackson as well. Jackson comes out of it. Good touch as well to open up some space on the sideline. Masser. Presley hitting it left-footed high. Oyster settles down under the fly ball and misplays it. McDonald with a great ball for Ojai, but Tori Huster reading that one very well and sliding in.
I like seeing her in that center back position, always coming to the rescue.
Through now from Del Rio, looking for Dunn, and it looked like for a half second it was going to be the right ball, but touchback now by Presley for Henninger, and now we'll see some game management from Mark Parsons. Tiffany Weimer's handed the card in the 89th minute. Preliminary indication is it's going to be Del Rio making way. Left for Ojai. Going to work against Church. Ojai getting in the angle. Good block there from Church. Dunn comes back for it. Presley's cagily giving her some space, and Dunn runs right past her. 1-on-3 now. Dunn cutting back 1-on-3, and Crystal Dunn nearly pulls that off, forcing a save out of Henninger. As there were only 2 more players in blue and red past midfield when Crystal Dunn took that shot.
Yeah, I think at this point the Spirit are absolutely spent. They're just letting Crystal Dunn go.
Tiffany Weimer's ready to go. We'll see if Matthew Franz allows the substitution to be made. Spirit are in no hurry to take the corner as Nairn is not even halfway there. And now they're going to make the sub happen. Del Rio will jog off, and we'll see Tiffany Weimer for the 3rd time this year. Good shift from Del Rio yet again. I think she's really played well since coming back from injury.
And it looks as if
Jen Skogerbo's ready to come too.
3 minutes of stoppage time as well.
We're into that right now, and we'll probably get a little more here as the Spirit have taken their sweet time with this set piece. Dance in the corner goes the Dash's way as it trickles out for a throw in. Jackson heading it forward. Didasco getting it out of the way. Wood Yaxley is handing the card now to Jen Skogerbo. See if time allows her to make her first appearance of the year. Dunn, still looking pretty fresh here in stoppage time. Nairn, Salem, making the run right as Weimer. Salem goes down and draws the foul as Jackson is the offender on this occasion. Skogerbo's ready, and they'll allow the substitution now. And it'll be Amanda DaCosta. So you take a forward off, you figure Skogerbo's just going to sit in front of that back 4 and help out. And I think here you just tell Christine Nairn, if you can score from 40 yards, be my guest, and if not, we'll play defense. Nobody else is forward except for Dunn and Weimer on this one.
Right. I don't necessarily think Christine Nairn's thinking that. Or maybe. Looks like she's lining up to take it.
Touches it back for Lohman. A little bit of deception there.
Faked me out.
They'll try and play it in the corner for Skogerbo's fresh legs, and she deflects it with her first touch of the season and gives the throw-in away. Jackson. Hit deep now looking for Master. Good step and win from Oyster. She'll dump it long, and Dunn will let it roll. They'll back up the throw-in here, deep into stoppage time. 93rd minute. Turn from McCarty. Played forward. Laid off now by McDonald. McDonald again, marked by Didasco. Cutting back. Didasco standing her ground well. Finally, McDonald gets the cross off, but the angle is not in her favor, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Oh,
Actually, it was deflected. Okay.
Off of Didasco. Didasco did a good job at defending her, kept her feet moving. She got that last touch over the end line.
See if Nikki Cross can serve a better ball. Last one she hit pretty low. Dash only need one good one here, though.
Why not
tie this one up late?
Why not send her?
Michelle Betos. If Michelle Betos can do it, then Bianca can do it, right? Crossing towards the far post. Rising forward is Presley and not missing by much. And that is the final touch of this one. So the Washington Spirit move into first place in the league, stay perfect at home with their 4th win here at the Plex. And Danielle Malgary, it was Crystal Dunn again.
Right, absolutely. Really, there wasn't that many more dangerous opportunities other than the scoring opportunity for Crystal Dunn, which obviously the Spirit are going to want to build on. But Crystal Dunn took that opportunity and just put it away after, I think, a frustrating first about 10 minutes of the second half, and just really took it to the back line of Houston in the second half tonight.
A lot of credit to the Spirit, I think, as well, when you don't have a lot of bodies on that bench to
Right.
gut it out and get 90 minutes out of just about everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, the Weimer sub and the Skogerbo sub were a little bit more about the game management, but the Spirit dug deep and worked hard for the 90 minutes and got a good 3 points tonight.
Houston sees their 5-game unbeaten streak come to an end. A few chances. I thought Ojai had a very good match, but probably not the amount of attack Randy Waldron would have liked to have seen.
Right, absolutely. Ojai definitely had some great opportunities late in the second half, just wasn't able to capitalize. Jess McDonald was definitely not as dangerous as she could have been, but a lot of that was because there weren't many great opportunities going forward for Houston, but obviously that's something they're going to want to build on as well.
And with a few chances, that just makes the job Kelsey wasted when she was called upon all the more impressive because she was very sharp when she needed to be.
Oh, absolutely, especially, with probably around the 80th minute was when she made that great save off of Ojai to push it wide of the goal, which I think was the best scoring opportunity for Houston Dash on the evening.
So the Spirit now moved to 17 points out of 10 matches, 5, 3, and 2 on the year. They, of course, have a couple more matches played than the teams right behind them, Chicago and Seattle, but always good to be in the clubhouse in the lead.
Absolutely.
Houston falls to 3, 3, and 4 on the year. The Spirit in action next week on the road at FC Kansas City. That game on July 3rd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. For the Dash, it's a little bit of a break as they are the odd team out in a 9-team league. They won't play again until they host Chicago on July the 12th, and that's going to be a key game for playoff positioning as well. So Crystal Dunn's goal in the 56th minute, the difference, Danielle. And final thoughts from this one? I thought a good, efficient performance from the Spirit.
Oh, absolutely. Like you said earlier, a lot of players putting in a good, solid 90 minutes. I think this is obviously a positive result for the Spirit, and they're going to want to continue to build on this, especially when some of the World Cup players start coming back into the system. I think it's something that they as a team want to continue to focus on.
Spirit's next home game is July the 18th, and I imagine that would be around the time you might see some of these national team players trickle in. You have to figure the Nigerian players the Spirit have signed will have their visas sorted out, as well as Haley Rasso, the Australian. So Mark Parsons will probably have his full complement or close to it when the rain comes in a couple of weeks.
And for any team in the league, I'm interested to see how these players will be impact players once they return.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a tale of two halves of the season. The Spirit right now are winning the first half.
Absolutely. And that's what you want when your players are away on international duty. That's absolutely what you want to see. When they are away, what team is going to have the stronger bench players coming in and putting in good 90 minutes?
My thanks to Daniel Malgary and our camera team and production team here who did a nice job here in the rain yet again tonight. And once again, the final score from the Maryland SoccerPlex. The Washington Spirit won thanks to Crystal Dunn striking the 56th minute and the Houston Dash 0. We'll see you in a couple weeks here at Plex.